Hi, I'm Chanel, and I am drinking a lemon mint tea.
And I'm Hillary, and I'm drinking an Americano.
And welcome to Red Lentils and
Red
Ruins.
lentils and ruins.
That may take some practice. Um, so, so welcome to this new podcast. This is episode 0. Hillary and I are old friends. We are located very far apart, so we apologize if there's any weirdness with this recording. We're still working through some bugs, but we are the critical drinkers, and we are hoping that you'll join us for a cup, a mug, a drink, while we think through some projects that we're currently facing. Okay, you go.
We'd like you to feel like you're sitting down and having a drink with us. So hopefully, this is conversational and fun and very informational. And we will find some current topics or some issues that we see in our lives as scientists and students. And we like to critically assess everything. So you'll get a taste of that.
Yep. And this is why we're friends, because we're critical of each other, of ourselves, and the world around us, but in a loving way. So Hillary and I first met while studying at Memorial University in Newfoundland, Labrador. And now we have gone our separate ways in the world, but we've maintained ourselves as friends. And even though we actually started off in first year taking some courses together, we've gone in totally different areas.
Totally
So,
different directions.
so I'm a maritime archaeologist.
And I am a nutrition student and soon to
Yep.
be registered dietitian.
Yeah. So I'm also a master's student, so I shouldn't say I'm super professional. I don't know every answer. I don't know every site, but we're going to try to answer our any questions you guys might have, or think critically about whatever's in the news and on the web from the best of our capabilities, our positions as students, and from what we know so far in our studies, what's come to light.
And so, in both of our fields, both in maritime archaeology, archaeology in general, and nutrition, we find a lot of misinformation online that
Pseudoscience
pseudoscience, yeah, that needs a
everywhere.
little explanation, maybe.
So, not everything is always 100% wrong, and that's something that we often see. It's people that take a good idea, something that maybe has some truth to it or simply hasn't been fully explored yet, and run with the wind with it. So, we're going to peel back some of the layers and see who's really in the wizard's seat and see what's going on. If you need to take it with a
Hopefully,
grain of salt. Not physically, like not
hopefully,
literally. Sorry.
hopefully we'll have a couple guest speakers um, who can talk to different areas in particular, or just some friends who think critically like us.
So, our goal is to have 2 episodes a month. Hillary and I will both take the lead on one of them, where we will talk about a sort of current issue in archaeology or dietetics slash nutrition slash biochemistry. And the other one gets to be relaxed and stupid and ask all the questions that might be going through your heads.
We know next to nothing about each other's fields.
Yeah,
So, this
literally.
will be a learning experience for all of us.
And hopefully, through the course of this podcast, each of us will start to think a little bit more critically about what the other's field is, and hopefully, the audience will take that as well. So, Hillary, how did you get into nutrition?
So, when I graduated high school, I wanted to be a doctor, as many people do, I think, when they graduate high school and they're interested in science and they're interested in healthcare and helping people. Um, and so I started my degree at Memorial in behavioral neuroscience or in psychology. And by second year, I took a course in anatomy and physiology, and it was the first time that I saw a brain and a spinal
Ooh.
cord and that kind of thing. And I'm like, why didn't I see this before in my degree? Um, Even though it was psychology and it was all about the brain. And so that was kind of a moment for me. Um, and so I switched into the biochemistry slash nutrition degree program at Memorial. Um, and it was also partially because I took a course in food, health, and safety, and it was really interesting, and the professor was really great. And so I finished my degree in biochemistry slash nutrition, and then I didn't really know what I was doing. I had decided that I
Like
didn't
so
want to go
many
to
of
med
us.
school. Mm, yeah, I had decided that I didn't want to go to med school because I was exhausted.
Yeah.
Ironically, because I'm still in school. Um, but I decided that. But I really liked nutrition, and I think the people around me could tell. Like when I talked about it, I was more excited. And
Definitely
I
saw
just
that.
yeah, and I was just really interested in it. And so I knew that I had wanted to work in healthcare, so I was like, I'll give dietetics a try. And so in dietetics, in order to be a registered dietitian, you have to get an undergrad from a Dietitians of Canada accredited nutrition program.
Okay.
And so thankfully for me, Memorial and Acadia University in Wolfville in Nova Scotia have a bit of an agreement where more credits transfer than if I were to go to another school. So I chose to go to Acadia, and I finished 2 years there in the nutrition and dietetics program. And then I applied for internships,
Okay.
and uh, it's a pretty competitive process, and it's very nerve wracking. Um, and thankfully, I think everybody who I graduated from Acadia with got internships. Um, and I
Excellent.
ended up going to Mount St. Vincent University in Halifax, in Nova Scotia, and doing research under Dr. Kylie Whitfield on infant nutrition. And it's a master's program in applied human nutrition, and then there's it's paired with their internship education program. So I take three
Fantastic.
years, I get my master's, and I get a dietetic internship so that I can write the registering exam and become a dietitian.
So it's dietetics.
Dietetics.
Okay, every time I talk about it, I say dietics, so I'm sorry.
It's like kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah, I just apparently never saw that other tea. Ironic coming from
There are
someone
too
sipping a
many
cup of tea.
teas.
Too many teas. No, there's never too much tea.
There's never too much tea. And Chanel, you wanted to be, involved in the ocean and water since you were a kid.
Yeah.
And
So
how
it's
did you
funny
end up
that
here?
it's actually really funny that you went from MUN to Acadia because when I was looking at where to go to university, I was really torn between the two and I almost went to Acadia. And
Thank
so
God
what
you
I
didn't.
I know. It's just funny the way the world turns out. But
Mm-hmm.
it's what I found out later is that it would have been so I originally started my university career in marine biology. And so I was going to go to Acadia, and the program would have transferred me to MUN for my final couple years. So we would have just missed each other. But instead, I decided, if I'm going to study marine biology, I'm going to go to an actual island. I'm going to be surrounded by it, by water. And MUN has the Marine Institute and the Ocean Sciences Center that it has sort of relationships with. So I figured that was probably the place to go. And knew nobody there, had no clue what the area was like, so I decided to go into residence. We met, thankfully, kept each other sane for a year.
Got that right.
And so while I was doing my first 2 years of courses there, I sort of started to look at the honors program and unfortunately was paired with a supervisor. Well, the supervisor I wanted to work with and the project I really wanted to work on that I had compiled with him wasn't possible because he was actually a loaned faculty member from the Ocean Sciences Center. So I basically was told I couldn't work with him, I couldn't do that project, and was crushed because what I wanted to look at was how the marine environment sort of reclaims shipwrecks, so how organisms sort of end up taking stuff that we've put in the water, things that we've forgotten about, and make their homes on it. So I had taken a archaeology course in the meantime as an elective, and I had loved it. I thought, okay, I'm going to minor in this, and spoke to a fantastic bioarchaeologist at MUN. Basically, was told that I could recalibrate my idea and approach it from an archaeology perspective. And so I switched my major and minor, and the rest is history. But I did end up I didn't end up writing the honors project because I wouldn't have had a supervisor in at MUN because there wasn't a maritime archaeologist there at the time being. So I completed my degree there, and when I finished my degree, I thought I absolutely cannot do a master's. I did not think I was qualified to do one, and found a program in Malta, which is a little island just south of Sicily. And I thought this program sounds really, really cool. I'm just going to give it a shot. I'm going to apply. If I don't get in, no big deal. I'll try in December. And I got in. So I went to Malta for a year, worked with some amazing people, and now I am writing my thesis and doing some research on that back in Canada.
Chanel's life is so cool.
Speaking of, going gallivanting with your white German Shepherd.
I don't know if you listeners might have heard, me and Chanel both have dogs.
Yes. They're little sweethearts. They've never met each other because they would be terrified of each other.
They'd have babies with each other.
Those babies would be adorable.
They'd be so cute.
And you would give them the best nutrition advice for pets. Mocha likes to swim. That's the most I can tie her into my field.
I'm
But
not
yeah.
gonna get into the grain-free or not grain-free debate. I don't
Not
know
today.
enough.
No. No.
We'll get
We
there.
just cook for Mocha, yeah. We give her, you know. I made a mistake once and did something that I shouldn't have with a pound of, I think it was free range chicken, ground chicken. So Mocha had that for dinner.
What a lucky pup.
I know, right? All right, so I think that is it for episode 0. We will see you folks in 2 weeks when one of us takes on a little bit more of a challenge and schools the other.
Join us for a drink then.
Yeah. Put your critical drinking caps on.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.